Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be running through the top 5 fat loss mistakes that are holding you back. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kai and I own Up One Coaching, which has helped work with over 250 men achieve their dream physiques. I've not only gotten people in shape, but I've also walked the walk of my own journey, so I feel like I'm pretty clued up when it comes to this subject. Without further ado, let's dive into it. The first one is expectations. I see so many people going into a dieting phase or trying to lose weight and their expectations are so skewed. You then get presented with a challenge and you're thinking, holy crap, that's not normal. I can't tackle that. I can't do that. I hate to say it, but it's not always going to be glitz and glamour. It's unfortunate because social media makes it sound so easy to get in shape, and it can be if you know certain things, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be challenges, and it's not about avoiding them. It's not about turning around when they come. It's not about trying to move your way out of them. It simply comes down to how do you navigate those challenges? Do you go around them? Do you go under them? Do you go over them? Do you just run straight through them? But expecting it to be easy is only going to trip you up down the line. Understand that it's going to be hard, so that when those challenges do arise, you're almost like, I was expecting this. Like boxers and UFC fighters always say, it's not the hardest punch that knocks you out, it's the one you didn't see coming. That leads on to number 2, and that is being too aggressive. You go into a dieting phase, you want to get rid of that stubborn belly fat, you're frustrated, you've got this built up kind of energy of getting it off, and now's the time, and I've been wanting to do this for years. You run out the gate, you've got that motivation, and all of a sudden 2 weeks goes and you're starting to notice the things that you set out to do at the start with the training, the nutrition, the snacks you were going to avoid, all of a sudden you're falling back to old habits. And that's because you're sprinting too fast out the gate. It's always better for you to start slower than start faster, because I would rather you go up than down. So what this looks like on a nutrition stand front, which is one of the most important fronts, is only creating a small deficit. You don't need to cut out carbs. Sugar's not the energy. If you eat olive oil, you're not gonna die. Just start by reducing some carbohydrates in your diet and some fats in your diet. I don't mean remove everything entirely, but just start with a slight deficit. For example, if you eat a meal of jasmine rice or potato, remove some of that. And as you go on, remove it again, but do it in a way where you're not getting to the point 2 weeks in and you're like, I literally can't sustain this. You want to be getting to the point with 2 weeks in where you're like, I was expecting all these challenges, and I thought that this was going to pop up and that was going to pop up. I thought my hunger was going to be through the roof, and you're like 2 weeks in, you're like, the challenges that arise are already kind of expected. I know how to handle the food. I know how to navigate my hunger. It's sustainable, and then you can build off there. And number 3, and this is one of the most important ones when it comes to the dieting stand front, and I hear people say all the time, I'm eating clean. Why are my love handles still there? Why can I not get that lean aesthetic look? Eating clean isn't going to cut it by itself. You've got to understand actually what's going into your body. And at the end of the day, if you're watching this, you probably don't want to track your salad. However, you have to understand what is going in to be able to manage that. Because if you don't, you've just got all these different variables moving up and moving down, and you're pulling this lever, and this lever goes this day and that lever goes this day, and you don't actually know what lever you need to adjust in order to get to where you want to go, because everything is so sporadic. You've just got to have a clean cut of like, this is what I'm eating, this is pretty much 100 or 200 calories within how much I'm eating, and then go from there and tweak from there. So the number one thing I recommend to do, now some people love flexibility, and flexibility is extremely important, but there has to be some form of structure when it comes to your meals. At least for me and what I've seen work the best. What I recommend doing is putting down meals that you could stick to for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So for me, for example, I could do Cocoa Pops as my pre-workout meal, for example, chicken and rice, I'm good with that, and I love steak and potatoes for dinner. I like a Greek yogurt after dinner. Now, I could eat that every single day. Some people are different, you might have to adjust things around, but I've got that rotation, and a lot of people have that rotation. So put that rotation down, work out the macros for that on MyFitnessPal, and then stick to those measurements every day. Because you're not going to be switching out 10 different dinner options or like 20 different breakfast options. You've probably got a rotation of 2 or 3. So once you understand those rotations, you can then manage those rotations. If progress isn't what it needs to be, you can tweak things from there. So 2 and 3 tying in together, make sure that with those rotations and the macros that you come up with, make sure they're in and around your maintenance or slightly below so that you can actually stick to it. You can search this up on macrocalculator.com and I'll work you through where your maintenance will roughly be. Number 4, and this gets on my nerves. Kind, I'm doing a bunch of cardio. I think I need to do more. Why can't I lose that weight? Do I need to walk more? Do I need to run? What cardio do I need to do? Put down the cardio. Actually, don't put down the cardio, but prioritize training performance. At the end of the day, nutrition is very important, weight loss is very important, but weight loss isn't the goal. It's fat loss and retaining muscle tissue. And how do you lose fat when you're in a calorie deficit? How do you maintain muscle? That takes place in the gym, and obviously with your nutrition, but primarily in the gym. So really hone in on your compound lifts. You don't need to be training 6 days a week. Getting in there 4 to 5 times a a week is more than enough. But getting in there and doing your shoulder press, your dumbbell incline press, like a chest press, you know, your leg press, those heavier movements where you get the most bang for your buck. Because then expenditure will be higher because your body's required to use more energy. So naturally you're creating more of a deficit there. But you're also putting the muscle under enough stress so it actually can repair and grow back. Opposed to you going on, you know, 5, 10, 20, 30-minute run thinking that that's going to get you your aesthetic physique. Yes, you might burn a bunch of calories, but in terms of you bringing that aesthetic look, sustainable look, and getting the most bang for your buck, put that energy into your training performance, focusing on either adding weights or reps each week to your compound exercises and training 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. I train 4 times a week. That works perfectly fine for me. If you're looking for a rough split to follow, obviously everyone is different, right? So I can't give you a tailored plan which is going to click for you, but a general rule of thumb, what's good to follow if you're doing a 4-day is like a push, pull, legs, and then push again. So you try prioritize 2 push days, so chest and shoulders. Bringing those aesthetics through. Now, number 5, and probably the most important one, I want to tell you guys a funny story. My partner, Sarah, she came into my room the other day and she knocked on the door. Kind, do you think you still need a coach? Training nearly 10 years, you know, done your back-to-back shows, we play second nationally at, you know, 20 and 21, worked with over 100 guys one-to-one, you've delivered them results. And I turned around and I said, babe, I will have a coach to the day I die, because why would I not go to the fridge and grab that ice cream? Why would I wake up and go to the gym if I didn't feel like it? Like, I'm human at the end of the day, right? There's a lot of people out there who preach that they're robotic, but at the end of the day, everyone relies on accountability. So having someone in your corner which can hold you accountable and who's walked up a mountain which you're trying to scale over and over and over and over again, so you can just focus on what you need to control and you've got confidence, you feel like you're supported, you're actually being held accountable, like your ass is being held in check, is so crucial. And guys, I don't just say this because I'm an online coach. I also have a coach. I've had a coach for 3 years straight. My coach who works with me, Josh, my right hand man, he's also with the same coach, right? All the coaches that I know, the top bodybuilders in the world, they have coaches. You start to see trends of things, guys, and you've got to be able to pick those up. At the end of the day, you can probably go try figure it out on your own, but if you don't have that accountability and that guidance when challenges present themselves, probably just going to have to pay with time and frustration. So you just work out which is the bigger risk for you. So those are my top 5 fat loss mistakes. Now, if you are looking for that level of accountability with proven to work methods so that you can just feel confident in following a plan and executing a plan, and you want similar results to these ones here, you can apply via the description. I'll reach out, see if you're a good fit, and we can have a chat about things. If you've got this far in the video, much love to you. You'll probably like this video if you've got this far, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.